Hello, Athon fans and authors, of course. We know there's a lot of you out there that love to support us. Today we have J Pal with us, and he's going to be talking about two books he's releasing. We have they call me Maddist. They call me Maddist and Houndsman. Oh, blew that up right in my head. Okay, yes, so we're excited for him to talk to us about those two series, and he's working on a whole bunch more. First, we could go through other new releases that we have today, starting with Boy Battles Boy. So some of y'all had seen this coming out a bunch recently. We release these about one a month. This is the third in the series, and it's sort of this young adult classification, and so it's sort of fun for the kids as well as the adults. And I'm going to read a review real quick on Boy Battles Bot, which is the first one in the series, if y'all want to take a look at that. This was fun. It reminded me of when I was a kid and watching all those cheesy campy movies and playing with action figures and imagining myself as a hero riding my bike through the woods. And so I think it really has that, if you saw some of the other titles and stuff like that, Boy Battles Bot, Boy Battles Bug, and now finally the third one in the series, Boy Battles Boy. So take a look at it if you like that young adults, and if you want to read a book with your kids and you want to get them into kind of that fantasy lit RPG genre, but sort of in that urban setting. So next one up is we got a box set, Drop Trooper, books 1 through 4. So you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. This is Rick Partlow, who is absolutely amazing, certainly a champion in that series. Let's see. We have Drop Troopers Contact Front. I've got a review here I pulled up. This is the first book that I have read written by Rick Partlow, and it won't be the last. From the moment I picked it up, I did not want to put it down. From start to finish, it is simply a roller coaster ride of excitement. Great characters and a story that hooks you from the beginning. I will definitely be reading the sequel as soon as it's released. I'm hooked. Well done, Rick. Well, the sequel is fully out, so we have the entire, Drop Trooper books 1 through 4. I believe there's more in these series. So you've got, if you want to get a good military series in that sci-fi genre, this one is a great one to pick up. It has been really popular. So next one in the box set is Viventium. We got down here Born of the Shade review, which is the first part of that series. It's incredible that this is a first book. I like fantasy series, and I am really excited to see where this one goes. There's a lot of character and world building in this because that's how fantasy series start in general, but the characters are interesting, and I'm intrigued to see where the story goes. Reading parts of this book, I totally lost myself, and that's a great sign for things to come from this author. So we've got a complete box set series there as well, and you always get a good bang for your buck when you buy these in a box set. And so we're excited for D.O. Thomas and this Viventium box set. Dark Stars by Casey Berger. We have, here it is, Resonance Dark Stars. Here's a review for this one. I love a good space opera, especially one with a dynamic cast of characters. The First Light definitely ticked these boxes off for me. Also, I'm a huge Mass Effect fan, and I definitely got those kind of vibes from this story, which I really enjoyed. So that was a review for First Light, which is the first book, and this is the third book in the series. This is the final book in the series so far, unless there's going to be an arc potentially later. But this one kind of completes the story set for the Resonance series. So give that one a look. And then finally, we are actually having a Kickstarter right now, so want to bring that up as well. We have, it's called Dungeons and Flagons. It's actually a drinking game companion that you would play during D&D or any other fantasy-style tabletop RPG. That's available on Kickstarter right now, Dungeons and Flagons. And so the basic premise of that is you have draw-if and drink-if cards. If something triggers in the draw-if category, which is based, of course, on those tropes that you see in these campaigns and sessions, then you draw a drink-if card that also has different tropes that apply to people who play the game frequently. So it's a really fun and funny drinking game that you might like if you take a look at it. So now on to what everyone's been waiting for, the amazing J-Pal. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
I feel like I did a lot of talking real quick. We got a lot of books being released. We still have 2 more to talk about. So
You cut off there.
thanks. So Jay Powell, you are a machine when it comes to writing, and you have now just released 2 books within a week. So we have 2 to talk about. Quite ambitious of you, but thank you for your hard work. You have lots of dedicated fans that love the fact that you put out this stuff over and over again. But today's release specifically is The Houndsman. So we want to hear from you what makes a good lit RPG, and tell us about The Houndsman, which has been very popular, and just give us a little rundown on what this looks like as far as this series.
Let's start with what makes a good lit RPG. That's a very difficult question, which if I am to answer honestly, will piss off way too many other authors out there. I feel the market it's a young genre, but the market's getting rather saturated right now. And about 90% of it is the same tried and tested format.
Yeah.
So
So
there are quite a few of us. I talk with quite a few fellow lit RPG authors on Discord, and all of us, we want something new. And when we can't find something new, we set out to write it.
Interesting.
So that's how The Houndsman came to be, really. I am obsessed with dogs. I have one already, recently got another puppy. My wife and I have been discussing getting more. So there aren't any, as far as I know, there aren't many lit RPGs out there which are fantasy stories which focus on the journey of a man and his dog.
Interesting. So would this fall into a classification of animal companion kind of for the?
Very much, because there are, I think, about 4 to 5 chapters in the book from the dog's POV as well.
Oh, cool. I like that.
And the second book, which I'm in the process of editing right now, his pack has grown significantly, and you got POV chapters from other dogs as well coming in.
I always like that when I'm in a book or in a movie and it just goes to the animal's perspective, and it's like my human, and it's always a fun angle to take, I think. So I'm excited to read that.
I'll have to tell you, it was so much fun to write. And when I was planning the story, I didn't have that in mind. But then I thought, okay, there's this dog which is getting magically enhanced and growing smarter and stronger as the story progresses. Instead of just telling that she's getting stronger and smarter, why don't I show it through her POV, through her point of view? So yeah, that's how Houndsman came to be. And most of us in the genre have grown up playing base building or kingdom building games. Just before I started Houndsman, I was hooked on Valheim, which I'm sure a lot of people have heard of. You're a Viking in the afterlife and you're building your own little castle, village, or whatever you want.
Yeah.
And I was hooked on that game when it first came out. I'd lost several hours in January and February on that. So I thought, let's put the two together, building and dogs. So you got a guy who goes out, is retiring from the army, wants a quiet life, and he is endowed with a quest which has him go off to a remote place, build a fort, and set a home for where the next champion that'll bring around peace can rise and grow and develop, has a safe space to get to the point they need to so they can end all the world's strife. So he is not the hero. He's the one who is going to facilitate the hero.
Yeah, I like that. He's kind of got a Western look to him. Does this have a little bit of a frontier feel to it as well?
Yeah, very much. You even have people discovering guns, people trying to come up with guns, because you have 2 sides. You have the humans and the Fae warring over here.
Oh.
The Fae are magic driven, while the humans don't really exactly have magic. They have a very bare bone system in place, but they have to use their ingenuity to get ahead. And the Fae's primary weakness is iron, which kind of nullifies their magic and burns them and whatnot. So you have them making iron weapons, coming up with guns, but which are too expensive for the common man to use.
Yeah.
So it's got a bit of a frontier feel, but this guy's moving to the countryside far away from civilization and building a home where Fae and humanity can sort of coexist, because he himself is a half-blooded individual, but he has to hide that due to prejudices on either side.
Wow. It sounds like you've got a lot of good, strong elements to this book. So I'd imagine I would very much enjoy reading it. So it's already, of course, on my list, but now it's just, it's a matter of getting around to it. So I've always got a whole bunch of books on my list to catch up to, but this one's definitely one of the ones at the top. I'm very interested in this one. So I like everything about it. Being a Texas guy, that true born Texan that loves that frontier feel. I love going out into the wilds and just hanging out in a cabin or something like that. And so maybe I should read that when I go next with my boys to a cabin.
Yeah.
All right. Let's take a look at Maddist, which is a sort of it's coming to an end. But we were talking about before, it might not be the end of the story in this world. So
no. So Maddist is, to start with, I had so much fun writing the final book of the series. When I started, I was a bit on the rocks. How am I going to do this? Because I'm ending the protagonist's name is Matt. I'm ending Matt's story, but I want to keep everything going. And then with the planning, I just got carried away, getting more and more ridiculous, which is what Mad is. It started with the most ridiculous idea. It started as a joke. I just had the title in mind, and I wanted to write something with the title. So let's think of the most ridiculous thing I can. Aliens come to Earth promising power. They're actually making a survival reality show and playing. It's essentially a honeypot trap.
There you go. There's the recommendation to all authors. If you're looking for something, just come up with a title and make it.
Come up with a title and build it around it. And
I'm going to write that. My next book is the greatest book in the world. So I'm just going to make the title and then I'll write something to it.
Embrace the absurdity, my friend. So
that's fun.
It's got some ridiculous elements like talk shows with cosmic entities.
Yeah. I remember some
protagonist embracing the costume he wears, the dog brown costume, and coming up with a hoverboard.
He does kind of look like dreams. He kind of looks like a young version of what is that? Back to the Future.
Emmett Brown.
Henry Brown.
That's what it is. When the book starts, he and his friends are in cosplay of different sci-fi characters, because you know how we nerds are.
Oh, yeah.
There's aliens have come to Earth and they're going to make a live broadcast of the whole planet. Let's dress as our favorite sci-fi characters to watch the broadcast. And his friends had, one of them was Spock. I don't recall what the other two were, but he picked his favorite and my favorite sci-fi character, Dr. Emmett Brown from Back to the Future.
Oh, yeah. He's great. I always liked him as a character.
And he happened to make the headpiece out of tin foil, aluminum foil.
Of course.
Which fortunately blocked the mind control, brain scrambling mumbo jumbo that the aliens were using to mess with everyone's heads.
Of course. So it really does seem like you've broken the mold of what makes up a lit RPG and are successfully writing in that. Basically, you're helping expand, and that's what I was thinking when you were first talking about it. It sounds like lit RPG really needs to start spreading its wings more. And of course, I guess if it's a stylish thing just to write a lit RPG, you're gonna fall into some of the same patterns. But it seems like you're helping stretch the wings on the genre, because you are certainly one of the more popular and successful lit RPG authors. If I was So
I wouldn't know about that. There are quite a few much bigger authors out there.
they
But
are, but I mean,
but
you,
yeah, I just didn't want to write something with the usual levels and stats and strength, agility, and all of that. And there are so many games that we grew up playing that don't use any of that, but they still have fun systems like Minecraft. You pick up the most ridiculous ingredients, slap them together, a rock and a bit of stone and wood, and you've got a pickaxe.
yeah.
And I just ran with that. His first weapon starts off as a potato gun.
I like
So
it. I wish I had, an extra 48 hours in a day so I could catch up to all the books I haven't read yet. But people in the audience, if y'all have some questions, go ahead and put some in the comment section so we can get to them. But yeah, I really like. I think it's hilarious. I didn't realize his hair is aluminum right there, so in the image. So, and then the hoverboard was what triggered the idea. I was like, oh, that's Doc Brown. So so cool. We got Kale Plammon in the comment section that's says hello, and also he's like, come on, tell us what makes a good lit RPG. Pick a fight. So,
well, I'd say something right now. It's something that breaks the mold, because I was very nervous when putting They Call Me Mad out there for the first time, and some lit RPG groups kind of rejected it as well because it doesn't follow the usual stats and levels. Instead, everyone has their own method of growing, and the protagonist focuses primarily on crafting.
mm-hmm.
And I was worried whether the lit RPG crowds would be into it. And to my surprise, quite a few readers got in touch with me over Discord or followed the story on Royal Road and commented there and left reviews saying that they're happy to find a lit RPG which doesn't throw joint tables at them every few pages, but instead focuses on the story and has a system as well, but goes about it in a more creative, unique way. And that kind of reinforced what I wanted to do. And I kind of ran with it in all of my other projects.
Yeah, I think most writers are like they don't want to do these huge tables of stats, but at the same time they started it and was like, oh, I can't really stop. So they're kind of stuck with it. I remember I do. I'm not an editor, but I do some of the formatting. And one time I was like, I was like, 20% of the last 4 chapters have been specific, only notifications and stats. It's like formatting for these books can sometimes be a nightmare.
Imagine how difficult audio must be for them.
Oh yeah,
primary tables and stats.
Sometimes over 3 minutes of them just talking about the stats. But yeah, I think there's a lot of elements that can be pulled together and reused in original ways. It's like when I think of it's like you've got lit RPGs that you have an overpowered character or you have an underpowered character. You've got the crafting, the base building. I actually haven't read any of them that specifically there's the city building, but I haven't really read any base building ones. So I'm excited to see that in your books. And then you get these training sessions, or or the abilities just pop into place. And I think it sounds like you've just taken a lot of the stuff that wasn't really used that still kind of falls into the category with Houndsman. And I'm excited to see that, because I haven't seen any. I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch out there, but the animal companion aspect of it, where you're growing the animal companion and it's a key role, a key character, rather than just a side character, couple chapters to entertainment. So how many in the series is planned for Houndsman, or is there even a plan for Houndsman?
So I have a solid start and end plan, and right now it's 4 books.
Okay.
I have only just finished the second book. I'm in the process of editing it so it can be sent off for audio, and then I'm going to start the third one. But so far I have settled on 4 books to start and end Flint's journey. But sometimes ideas evolve and grow, so it could turn into more.
Excellent. Well, I'm really looking forward to it because from the little I got to read, which was just a little bit, and that you've talked about, I've just gotten more and more excited about this one. I think it's unique, and the fact that you're able to sort of get that frontier gunslinger kind of feel into a lit RPG, it's certainly seems unique. Um, I had another question, but oh yeah, you said you're making a universe or a cosmere or whatever your name for it is between your books. So tell us a little bit about that for the people that are unfamiliar or haven't read enough of your work to see it coming.
So I'm starting it off with Houndsman. It's kind of a universe where magic rules, and it's built and run by cosmic entities and deities. It's called Discverse. So you got the standard planets and stars and other celestial bodies, but most of the worlds where life exists, it's a disk instead of a spherical planet.
Mm.
Because it's just how magic runs in the universe. It's what's needed for life to exist.
Yeah.
And
Those
you have
flat earthers happy.
yeah, exactly. You have common deities and cosmic threats spread across the universe, which kind of overlap across many stories. For example, after I finish Houndsman, or while Houndsman's still being published, one of my other series might start coming out, Trickster's Tale, which connects to Houndsman Book 3, where we have a Galactus-like world-devouring entity called Oth, which is a mass of tentacles and eyes. And in Trickster Book 2, you have the primary villains being a cult trying to bring him into the disc. And I have another tower climbing story after that, which is set on Earth in the 1700s, but the tower is an ark which kind of escapes. The protagonist of Houndsman helps escape from a world that Oth has dominated, and it ends up on Earth. So it's an expanding universe. You could even call it a multiverse.
Excellent.
Essentially, I have I've been writing for 6 to 7 years, and there have been too many projects which I've loved, but due to real life complications, or I used to be a chef, the demanding hours of working in hospitality, I never got around to finishing the projects. So I'm in the process of rewriting, polishing the projects, bringing them up to my current writing level, and kind of assembling them together.
Yeah. It's nice to have some more stuff to inspire and fix up in the background and turn out some more content.
Exactly.
So, one thought that went through my mind when you said that the Houndsman himself is a support for the hero. I'm sure everyone is familiar with Ender's Game. Not so many people are potentially interested in or heard of Ender's Shadow, which I love Ender's Shadow 100%, and I think it adds 100% as much as I like Ender's Game. And where you have this shadow hero that is really the reason that that things are going well. So,
to be honest, I enjoyed Bean's journey a lot more than Ender's after the first book. He was a much more compelling protagonist.
Yes, when it continues on and you're following the events on Earth while Ender is, disappearing into the world, I did like the Shadow series better. Of course, it gets a little weird with Ender's Journey. It's just like, oh, some of this alien stuff. It gets a little strange, and technology is more wrapped up in the technology than the reality. Yeah, and I think he's a better reality writer. The fact that everything was built in a military institution, and it didn't feel sci-fi, but it was sci-fi. So anyway. So that's a little bit of the situation that's going on with Houndsman as far as the Bean relationship to Ender, the shadow hero.
So, in too many fantasy stories have the protagonist who's the fabled hero, the chosen one. I just wanted to write a story where the protagonist isn't the chosen one.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, his journey involves finding the chosen one and helping him prepare for whatever threat or whatever quest he's supposed to do. So that's Flynn's journey. His journey involved going into the wilderness, finding the ruins of fort, restoring the fort and protecting it so it can become the home of this said hero, this fabled hero, the champion of equilibrium. But he's not the champion.
All right. Well,
instead, he's laying the groundwork for the champion.
Yeah, I really like that. So I think everyone watching, should, if you're interested in the lit RPG genre and you're not wanting to fall into the same tropes with your next book, The Houndsman is definitely worth a look. Or you can start the Mad series. So thank you, J-Pal, for joining us. Anything else? Any questions? Let's see. Yeah, people. Theo says they like the multiverse theory and exploring it. What was it? Do a comedy where you accidentally kill the chosen one by knocking them down or something. Then you have to try to fix the prophecy since you messed up the world. That's
watch out! Christopher needs to watch out for Trickster's Tale when it comes around, because that's precisely
well, there you go.
what I'm going for. Absurdist fantasy comedy.
Well, we have one on its way then. Fantastic.
Yes.
Oh, we got Keon who's commenting on the Ender series. Even the author prefers Shadow. He said he basically took him years of upping his skill before he could write the book. Looking back, he wished he wrote originally. Yeah. So that makes sense. I didn't realize he enjoyed that series more, which would of course make it a better series if the author's enjoying writing it more. So thank you so much for your time. Look forward to having you back and getting some more insights on the Houndsman's journey as it's writing and updates on the Trickster on your next release. So when can we look forward to Trickster?
Trickster. So I've finished the first 2 books. Once I'm done editing and submitting Houndsman 2, I plan to do my final edits before turning them into Aethon. But we are looking at March or April for book 1.
Fantastic.
So it'll release either just before or after Houndsman 3.
Well, I aspire to be able to churn out that content as fast as you do, but I don't think I'm going to be there anytime soon. So I'll just have to live vicariously through your accomplishments for now. So thank you so much. I'm very much looking forward to the Houndsman, and hopefully everyone else enjoys it. And we will see y'all in the review section for the Houndsman, I hope. So J-Pal, again, thank you so much. And
thanks for having me.
Yeah, and we'll talk to everyone next week. Y'all have a good week of writing, because we have a lot of writers in the comment section, and enjoy reading some new releases. All right. Bye.
All right.